Hi everyone, it's Karen here. Welcome to another video with me and Lavinia Stamps. Today, one of the days of the first extravaganza of the year, I'm going to share with you this beautifully elegant little card. I found this relatively inexpensive frame and I thought those two go together beautifully. So I've got the Twisted Vine set in the background and I've used it in two colours. I've got a mini stamp here, which is the mini flowers from the pound range. I've got Every Dream Begins with a Wish. And I'm using my Posca pen for the dots. Stencil brush on one of my favourite stencils of all time, Feather Leaf. And then the colours that I'm going to be using. Confetti in the Elements, which gives us this lovely red background here. And then the greens that I've used, VersaFine Clair, Verdant and Green Oasis. And then to stamp my sentiment, I've got Nocturne. We'll also need a pencil. The size card that I'm going to be using is an A6 card. We will get started. Now, if you didn't want to use it in the frame, you can easily mount it as a card, and I'll talk about that at the end. So, A6 multifarious card. I'm going to take my pencil. And when I was starting to think about this design, I needed an oval shape, and I went to all my dies and everything, and I couldn't find one that would suitable. And then you know what I came up with? My goodness, right before my eyes, there it is, sitting right on my craft desk. So I'm just going to lightly draw around this stamp pad with my pencil in the center of that card. And then to position the whole piece, I'm going to stamp the sentiment first. So just using the Nocturne. Making sure you get it straight. So I'm using the lines on my stamp pad to help me line it up. And I'm just going to pop it through the center of my oval shape. Then I'm going to take my Twisted Vine set. I'm going to start with Verdant. I just love this colour. It absolutely, any foliage, if you're trying to get depth, it just is a perfect. So I'm going to start on the edge of my sentiment. And you'll have heard me say this a lot. I like to take my ink pad to my stamp. I have a bit more control over the pressure that I'm applying when I do that. And I'm just going to go, I think 4 foot around the top, just following the circle that I've drawn in pencil. Don't mind if they don't match up exactly, because we're going to put some flowers and dots and stamp the other foliage on top of it. And then I'm going to continue round on my circle. So I hope you're all having fun with this extravaganza. And already I am demonstrating at the shop for 2 days and I'm super excited. So if you are coming, please pop in and say hello. I've got lots of samples ready to show with you. So there we have our outline. Then I'm going to take Green Oasis, which is a slightly darker green, and then I'm just going to pop a few of these in between the spaces that I had with the lighter green. That way it just adds depth. Makes it look really lush and full. And then I'm just going to carry along the bottom. Don't worry if we've got gaps here. That's what we're going to have our little mini flowers to fill. So if you don't have the exact same stamps I'm using here, oh my goodness, there are so many to choose from. So many foliage, stamps, flowers, anything will work here. Now that, I didn't stamp that very well because I didn't ink it up very well. So again, no worries, because our mini flowers, we'll just pop one there. So we are now going to go in with our mini flowers, and I'm going to use confetti here. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to start here. And you honestly cannot go wrong with this one. Let's just pop them where you like. I haven't made mine completely symmetrical. That's intentional, because I want it to look a bit more random than that. I need one in the middle here. Now, this one looks a bit lost here. So you can see what I've done is, as I was stamping, some of them go a little above the oval and inside and out. Then we're going to take our stencil. Fabulous feather leaf. We're still going to use confetti and my stencil brush. Now these are quite wet, juicy pads, so I'm going to tap a little in there and tap a bit on my mat. That way, what I'm getting on my brush is a nice soft application of colour. And then I rather start lighter than darker. That's it. And I'm keeping this moving in a circular motion so that I don't get any hard blobs, harsh lines. And then I'm just going to pick up a bit from the mat. That way it's going to be nice and soft. If I lift up my stencil, you can see where we're starting to get. Now, you want some of this stencil to go in towards the centre, but not completely, so that you've got a little bit of a white space in and around that sentiment. By having the white space in the centre, it just makes the whole thing pop. A bit like life, right? A bit of white space, a bit of downtime. We all need that. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that looking really pretty, even if I say so myself? Again, I'm going to pick up some of this colour, and now I'm just going to give around my oval shape. I'm just going to shade it a bit more so that in that centre piece it's a bit darker. That's what's going to give you a bit more contrast. And then again, I'm just going to use a piece of acetate here so that any ink that I've got on my fingers doesn't transfer onto my card. And then I'm just going to go all around the edge of my card. But again, so lightly and softly, because that's what's going to create this glow. always popping it onto my mat. As I say, I'd rather go in several times than go in too hard, because it's much more painful to take it away. So you can see I've used ever such a tiny bit of ink to create that whole design. And then lastly, we're going to take our Posca pen and dot. I'm nervous of this ink. That is likely to cause me problems. So I'll just clean the mat with my Posca pen. I'm just going to dot first the center of these little mini flowers. And there we have a lovely little card, which you could just mount on a normal card. That would make a lovely anniversary card, birthday, just hi. Or what I did here was I just popped it into this frame, which, as I say, relatively inexpensive. I do hope you've enjoyed that. I would love to see your make, so please tag me. And I'll be back again on Monday. Bye for now.